Okay, so you ready?
Sure thing.
Here we go.
Okay.
Tell me your name, your age if you're comfortable, where do you live, and what do you do?
My name is Jenna Ritter. I'm 51 years old. I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and right now I'm working with clay and paint.
Wonderful. Okay, the first question is, tell me a point of inspiration which has greatly influenced your creative life. It can be a thing, it can be a person, it doesn't have to be in your art form at all, but something that you feel has impacted your creative life.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is nature. That's always been a place of inspiration and kind of wonder and curiosity for me. I grew up in New York City, and so when we had a house out on Long Island, so we'd go for weekends, and that was always like a reprieve for me. I felt like New York City was an interesting place, but being in nature, I felt like expanded and connected in a different way. And I think that's what, in my art making now, that I'm looking to generate and learn more about. But earlier than that even, I mean, I was raised, like I said, in New York City, and my early childhood education through third grade was very arts-based, very arts-centered, and there was like a professional art studio that we could paint and carve wood and make prints and build with clay and explore material. And having art as part of the curriculum as a child was, I think, very informative to me, as art is part of life. Unfortunately, in fourth grade, that went away, but I think that was an influence in terms of allowing myself to be working in like a play space in a professional studio now. So, and that's another influence.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if every child could
Yes.
have art as a given in their life early on?
Oh yeah, I think the world would be a different place if that
Absolutely.
was, yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're in the midst of your work, being a potter and being a painter are both physical activities, and you can pick both or one. It doesn't matter. You can speak about this in both disciplines. When things are going very well, and you lose yourself to a certain degree, in however manner you do, is there a body sensation that you're aware of this freedom, or something?
Oh, yeah.
Something gets activated?
Oh,
I put
yeah.
words in your mouth, but what do you think?
Yeah, when I'm in the sweet spot of my making, whether it's clay or paint, or I mean even like cooking, or just like walking in nature, just being, you know, in a sense of creative flow, there's like a lightness in my body. It's almost like there's a dissolving of like where I end and like space begins in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. It's definitely outside of time. It's completely joyful. It's a sense of no worry and being supported like simultaneously, but those aren't the words I would use. It's like it's outside of words. It's like I'm in almost an altered state. And it's blissful. It's, you know, like when you're in a deep meditation and it's like a samadhi state or something. There are times when I work and like tears will be coming. I'll be polishing pots in my studio, and it's like, you know, 2 o'clock in the morning and it's completely still out, and I'm just in this rhythm, in this zone, and you know, there's a rhythm of the stone on the pot, and there's like no worry at all, and just tears at the blessing of being able to do that. You know, and it's just for myself in that moment, but it's complete joy and no worry.
I want to be there.
Yeah, I'm sure you get there, Marcia. Sure.
It's like, give me some of that.
Yeah. Totally right.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, so the third question is sort of obvious, but I want your personal take on it. We all know art in all forms makes the world a better place.
Yes.
I mean, we can't imagine without it.
Mm.
Everyone's trying to annihilate it right and left, to and fro, but
Mhm.
you know, all the powers that be. But
Yeah.
from your personal perspective, why is your art form, what you do personally, essential for the world? I can say, I need you. You know, I see your work. It's needed.
Thank
But
you.
why do you think it's needed? And it's not from an ego perspective, but just like every individual is a drop in the artistic ocean.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
So interesting. You know, when I was a child, 9 years old, I was in my bliss place because my art making was sort of integrated into my life. And the home that I grew up in, while we were not artists at home, we appreciated art. There was wonderful music playing on the stereo every night. There was wonderful art, you know, around in the apartment. There were art books. We would go out to hear music. We would see shows. The way that my mother, the way the house was designed, and you know, the way she would set a table and cook food, all of this was very artistic. And so I had this experience of the arts being integrated into daily life. And when that went away, and I was happy, when that went away and I was put on a very academic track, and I wasn't a Picasso, so I wasn't, you know, permitted to sort of search at art. Like that could be a hobby for me, is how it was communicated, but it wasn't a real something I could really go after. I became lost, and I became angry, and I became self-destructive. My anger and my depression was turned against me, and I went through a long period of darkness. And what was interesting is in that period of darkness, I would like sneak art. Like I used to do this thing where it was before the time of cell phones, but it was like the first selfies, where I would take photographs with a disposable camera and take photos of parts of my body, and then I would develop those, have them developed, and then I would cut them up, and I would like, you know, do these photo montage, trying to make sense of myself in this world in this discombobulated way. And that was healing for me in some way. That wasn't art making to sell or to show anyone. It was for me, to keep me kind of walking around. And so when I was able to be in the place I am now, moving to Santa Fe from New York City, being around nature, I was a preschool teacher for a long time. That also helped me, because that's where my joy was, right? So my professional life, I was teaching arts to young children. It makes me better. Like now I'm happy all the time because I label myself as an artist. I'm working with clay, I'm working with paint, I'm integrating the nature. I'm a better person for that. Whether my particular art piece, I mean, I would hope, I mean, you know, I think great art transmits a healing and a message to people. It's, art is important because it's good for our imaginations. It helps people think in different ways. It's out of the box. It's curious. We learn about relationships in our art making and in our art viewing. There's so much that can come from that. So great art does that. I aspire to that. But for me and my making and my showing, it makes me just a better person in the world, if this makes any sense, where I'm just kinder and more joyful to people that I meet. And I don't have an edge on me, and I'm not like contained. I can be free, you know, and I like to work with different materials because based on what I might personally need is what I choose to work with in that day to kind of balance me out. And so I don't know if this makes sense, but for those reasons, I think art is really essential. And I think all of us are artists. I mean, look at the world and the universe. A woman making a baby is a creative act. I mean, this is all, you know, we are creative energy. And to express that and share that, I think, is very valuable.
That's marvelous.
Thank you.
Good answer, I'd say.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Jenna Ritter, thank you so much for sharing your creative imperative.
Thank you for inviting me to be part of your project. It's an important one.
It is an honor. Thank you.
Thank you.